call this meeting to order. If everyone would please stand for the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections on tonight's agenda?
We have fire department,
Yes.
number 5, pay change for EMT firefighter.
Concerns of trustees, electric aggregation.
Any others?
Under concerns of the fiscal officer, do we have a special presentation by the fiscal officer son here this evening?
We do.
Yes. It's a 9th grade presentation from Mr. Wolf, Jr. All right. Seeing the agenda has been amended, we will go ahead to unfinished business. Ms. Campbell?
Thank you. I have an item to amend Resolution 24-016 to enter into an agreement with Computech.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes, it was just to correct the amounts.
Okay. Roll call?
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes. And that finishes unfinished business. We have nothing under new business or the sheriff's report, so this will take us over to the fiscal officer. Mr. Wolf?
Thank you. Fiscal Officer number 1 is a resolution to authorize the payment of pending warrants in the amount of $155,654.27.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 2 is a resolution to authorize payment of regular payroll in an amount not to exceed $250,000.
So moved.
Second? Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 3 is a resolution to authorize payment for the following medical claims.
So moved.
Second? Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 4 is a resolution to authorize a true-up payment to the State of Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation of $6,515.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 5 is a resolution to approve sick leave bonus as stated in the negotiated contract for members of the Plain Township Firefighters Association as follows, with one correction. James Russell is not eligible due to Family Medical Leave Act.
We'll so move based upon the edited amount that Mr. Wolf has referenced on fiscal officer number 5.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 6 is a resolution to authorize a refund as follows for overpayments for EMS as requested by Ohio Billing.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
That concludes the Fiscal Officer report.
Thank you, Mr. Wolf. This will take us over to the administrator, Ms. Campbell.
Thank you. I have a resolution for payment to Canton Data Print for the spring newsletter.
So moved.
Second, discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
And that's the end of the administrator report.
Thank you, Ms. Campbell. This will take us over to the fire department. Chief?
Thank you. Item number 1 is our 2023 annual report. Just want to say thanks to our Secretary Vicki Lloyd and the other staff members for some of the pictures and stuff to help us put all this together.
Look like you had another stellar year with many accomplishments. Thank you.
I will say this on that, and this will apply to all, but personally, I think these should be posted online and or through our social media. Those are 2 forums where to have that consolidated view, again, these are very well put together, and you know, this isn't something we can get squeezed all into a newsletter, but this is to show literally the volume of work that's done. I'd like to see all of the departments stuff.
So if you could submit them to Gordon East and ask him to upload and tell him where on your page you would like those.
The public needs to know. Thank you. Go ahead, chief.
Thank you. Item number 2 is a resolution by Plain Township Board of Trustees to change the pay status of Brooke Tallman from part-time EMTB to part-time firefighter EMT according to resolution 23-185.
So moved.
Second, discussion, roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Item number 3 is a resolution by Plain Township Board of Trustees to authorize purchase of payment for computer system surveillance upgrades at Station 1 from Computech not to exceed $2,602.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Item number 4 is a resolution by Plain Township Board of Trustees to authorize purchase of payment to Boundtree for one McGrath laryngoscope and miscellaneous equipment not to exceed $2,500.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
And item number 5 is a resolution by Plain Township Board of Trustees to authorize the change in pay status to Danielle Wortman as she is passed her firefighter course and she is an EMT firefighter now, and resolution, according to pay rate, resolution 23-185.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
And that concludes fire department. Thank you.
Thank you, chief. This will take us over to the road department. Mr. Neff?
Thank you. Road item number 1 is our 2023 annual report.
Seeing that 1/3 of your staff is new and you were able to accomplish as much as you did is phenomenal. You guys have really come together as a crew and department. We're very proud of you.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, I could talk all night, but I know we want to get out of here. But yeah, super
I'll make a
proud of
motion to adjourn.
Yeah, super proud. You know, if you look down through the work orders, another thing I want to touch on there is just the sign program. We replaced 223 street signs and 193 25-mile-an-hour signs. So pretty impressive there. We're trying to get aggressive on our sign replacement program. So like I said, we could talk all night about it, but those are just some of the topics there. Crew worked really hard and super proud of them, and we're just going to attack it again this year.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to it, and I definitely agree with Scott. We need this to be posted on social media, and our website, so people can see all that our departments do.
Appreciate it.
If anybody has any questions in regards to the report, see Mr. Neff after.
Thank you. Road item number 2 is a resolution to certify the Ohio Department of Transportation annual township mileage for 2023 at 175.205 miles of public roadway.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Thank you. Road item number 3 is a resolution to open a blanket purchase order to K-Tech Specialty Coatings in the amount of $20,000 for the purchase of BE liquid de-icer.
So moved.
Second. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Thank you. Road item number 4 is a resolution to authorize the increase of non-contractual road employee yearly food allowance to $300.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Long overdue based on food prices.
Yeah.
Exactly. If one beer's $2.50, and by the time they taxes,
And that completes road.
we need the roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Neff. This will take us over to the zoning department.
Thank you, ma'am. First item on the agenda is the 2023 annual report.
Please let Megan know she did a fabulous job with this. We appreciate
Like
the hard
Scott
work.
said earlier, all 3 of these reports are really detailed, easy to follow, which is nice for people that are looking at it, and definitely shows a good summary of what took place through the year.
I still think the housing construction one is super amazing, not just because we continue to lead the county, but with all the economic headwinds that there are, that combined with, realistically, we don't have much space left to develop in Plain Township. So while we're riding it and welcoming new people in the community, that's a great thing. But at some point in the future, new house starts are gonna become relatively flat, maybe even non-existent because of literally what's left from a
Places you
developable
can put it,
land.
yep.
Yeah, so.
Well, if anybody has any other questions for the zoning department, please see Tom afterwards. Anything else for you?
That concludes zoning.
All right, well, thank you. This will take us over to the Parks Department. Rob?
Thanks, item number 1 is the annual report.
They too had a stellar year. With the amphitheater and all the work in the
Just a
service complex.
minor addition on infrastructure for him this year.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll go with that.
Pickleball courts, that's a lot. Okay, good.
Thanks. Item number 2 is a resolution to adopt a new fee structure, scheduling procedure updates for outdoor soccer.
So moved.
Second, discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Thanks. Item number 3 is a resolution to authorize the attached change order for master reservation for the Diamond Park Barn project.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Thanks. That concludes Parks.
Okay, we don't have anything under the law director, no communications. At this time, if there is anyone in the audience that wishes to speak, please state your name and address for the record, and you can speak from your seat or you can come up to the podium. I know that we have one scout here. He's looking to get one of his badges, so like I mentioned before, afterwards, just come up and we'll sign your paperwork.
So what badge are you working on?
It's a merit badge for my, scout, it's called Citizenship in the Community.
Good stuff.
So what's your current rank?
I'm second class.
Okay. One that we just swore in earlier, one of the firefighters, it was an Eagle Scout. There's one bit of advice I can give you. Keep pushing all the way through to the Eagle Scout, because I made it to the rank of life, it's life, then star.
No, it's stars.
Or I made it to star, and then I got sidetracked by the fumes. The old running joke is the perfume and the gas fumes got to me. My interest in driving and interest in ladies, those fumes. So see it through. It really does set a really great foundation for you in life, just from, you know, a lot of character traits, and it goes a far way even when you're looking for employment starting out. That ranks up there high with employers, so applaud you for focusing on these merit badges. See it all the way through.
All right, that'll take us to concerns of trustees. Scott?
I just, the electric aggregation, I don't know if you guys have been getting calls, but between text messages and calls and having seen, you know, some stuff on Nextdoor, just comments, I want the public to remember and understand, the electric aggregation isn't something that the board just went and did for the sake we thought it was good. This was actually a ballot initiative that went before the public, I think probably between 10 to 12 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's the community who authorized the Board of Trustees on their behalf to bid out the electric aggregation. This isn't the Board of Trustees trying to sneak something past you, as they had one individual say. This is literally trying to get you the best rate. And I know a couple folks have said, well, do you have examples of exactly what I'm gonna say? Short answer is no. We don't have specific examples, but for the record, the easiest way to be able to figure out what your savings are is look at your kilowatt per hour rate, how many kilowatts you're using, and then if you're seeing what the new rate is, go out to the Ohio PUCO, the apples to apples comparison chart, take a look at those other rates, and you're gonna be able to figure out what you save. There's nobody here at the township that's being personally enriched by some deal on electric aggregation. again, I won't speak to this, but these are, you know, some of the points I've seen and heard, so I think it's just important, given that it's it. It is an opt-out, so you are automatically in unless you opt out.
And the PUC requires us by law, once every 3 years, regardless if the rates changed, which they haven't, to mail out opt-out letters. It's not something we look forward to doing because it does create confusion, but we are required by the PUCO to once every 3 years, mail out the opt-out letters.
That's all I had.
I think that was appropriate, because we did have a group that was going door to door pretty aggressively, trying to barter for their business.
All right, well, thank you, Scott. That'll take us over to the approval of the minutes for January 9th. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
All right, this time we have a need for to adjourn into executive session from the regular meeting at 6:19 as authorized under Ohio Revised Code 121-22 for the purpose of the consideration of 4, preparing for, conducting, or reviewing negotiations or bargaining sessions with public employees concerning their compensation or other terms and conditions of their employment.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.